Hi guys and welcome back to another DrAce video, and today we're going to be playing MotoGP 23. It is now time for round 11 of our MotoGP career mode, and it is time for the circuit of Barcelona here in Catalunya. Now unfortunately I accidentally skipped the qualifying in this one, so I only did one lap in free practice, so we'll be starting from 12th place. So here we go then from the 4th row on the grid. We will wait for the red lights to disappear, and away we go. Oh, a little bit earlier than I expected there, but off the line, a pretty good start. Of course, we have a massive championship advantage ahead of Jack Miller. There goes Alex Marquez on the right-hand side, but here we go for the lunge to take as many riders as we can into turn 1. We went from 12th to 3rd in just one corner. We're now up to 2nd by turn 3. This has been a magnificent start in the early stages of the Catalunya GP as we go around the outside of Marquez. Well, not necessarily around the outside, but we had the inside line as he feinted the lunge around the outside. Didn't work out for the number 93, and we are now leading the battle and the charge to attack Jack Miller. And there goes the lunge up on the inside for the Repsol corner. Does it happen? It does not yet. But here into the TV3, you better believe I'm going to go full send for the lunge into the left-hander as Jack Miller. Does he fight back? He certainly does. Look at that move. Round the outside goes Jack Miller to have the inside line for the Campsa corner for turn 9. Marvellous from Jack Miller. Ooh, a little bit risky there upon the acceleration goes number 43. But we now have the line, the run, the speed going into Lakaisha to take over at the front. Marvellous positioning on the circuit and a great start for a battle here in Catalunya. Now, something to mention here is in the Catalunya GP, the AI struggle a lot on the straights. I don't know. Ooh, second track limit warning for me there. So I don't know what the actual reasoning is for it, but on the straights, for some strange reason, they are completely slow. So you're going to see a quiet example here as we are 3/10 of a second, 4/10, 5/10. It's going to go up to 8/10 before we even get on the brakes. Goodness me, what an advantage we have already against the 120% difficulty AI. Magnificent. This season is going absolutely swimmingly, I tell you. But we are going to have to start making things a bit more interesting, so I think from this point onwards, it could very well be a power setting 1 job from now on. Of course, it went really well in the Red Bull Ring of Austria. It went swimmingly in the Dutch TT of Assen. I think now if we drop down to power setting 1 for the rest of the season, I think that will give us a chance of making things interesting. Now, I'm not going to do it in this one here today. I want to really focus on trying to get the final double here in Catalunya before we start changing things up. But as far as I'm concerned, I am loving this Ducati. Let's go for the challenge. Let's go and see if we can change things up in the latter stage of our MotoGP career mode. I think with a 137 championship point advantage, I think we should be solid for the rest of the season. Just depends if we get any wet weather conditions. If we do get any rain, that could really make things interesting. And if we do get rain, I do wonder if we're going to have that glitch again, like we did in the Sachsenring Sprint, where of course we all started on slick tyres in a completely torrential rain track. It was brilliant. It was my favourite moments I've had in MotoGP 23 for a while. So into the final corner, and this is turn 14 as we bring on the power to get across the line there to set a lap time of a 1:37.503. Now in the practice I only did 1 lap and then I skipped ahead, which is what I thought was going into qualifying. I actually skipped straight to the sprint and we did a 1:37.3, so easy peasy stuff so far for us. Easy. Really very much enjoying this one, very happy with the performance. And 3/10 of a second down on the sector time. I'm not too worried about that because we still have a 1.6 second advantage ahead of Jack Miller. Do really want to see the AI get a bit more competitive next season. Feels weird me saying that now after doing 2 seasons struggling on the KTM. But that was simply because the bike was not upgraded. I think that's going to be the best parts of our seasons from now on. And to be honest, for MotoGP 24... if I feel it's going to go the same way, I think I'm going to absolutely ban the use of the Ducati, because I think that could just make it too easy. Unless it's our only motorcycle that's given to us in MotoGP's career mode, and maybe then we choose it. But I think from this point onwards, we don't use any of the bikes we've been using so far within MotoGP 23's career mode. So no gas, no KTM, and no factory Ducati. I want to keep it fresh. I want to keep using different teams. Let's see what we get next season for MotoGP 24. So it's now a 2-second advantage as we go into the Europe car and then into the right-hander for the New Holland corner. We are 0.5 of a second adrift from our fastest lap set on the lap prior. So across the line, it's a dropped into the 138s there for a second. It's certainly nothing to be concerned about, but it's so it's worth mentioning that my pace has dropped off quite a lot in the latter to middle stages of the sprint, let's say. We only got 6 laps here in the sprint, and we're already 3 and a sector laps in. But it looks like, again, the only championship contender who's really giving us a fight is Jack Miller. He's 2 seconds behind. Behind him is Marc Marquez, and he seems to be quite close now to the Aussie. See what he can do from 3rd position, considering Repsol Honda flew to the top of the pile in the sense of the team's comparison screen. I'm surprised we didn't see much more from them. Of course, the Ducati then had a bump up in power in the Silverstone test, and that's of course made this bike completely unbeatable now as far as I'm concerned. I was hoping to go for a ridiculous season where we just completely dominate, but for a content side of view, I get it that we want to see more action, and even more for me as well. Ooh, a little bit loose there going into Like I should actually almost drop the front. I have to be a little bit more careful with that as we go into turn 10 on the next corner, the next lap should I say. Soft option rear, it was a little bit of a gamble for this one. I just wanted to change things up a bit. Medium rear is predominantly the best choice here in the Catalunya round, and to be honest, by the time this video is uploaded, you probably already witnessed some great racing in the Ace Academy Cup on Monday night's stream. If it went well, I certainly hope it did. If it didn't, then I'm sure we'll forget about it and move on to the next cup on MotoGP 24. But yeah, for those who did turn up, I imagine we had a good stream, and I want to say thank you to everyone who did. Of course, recording this ahead of time, so I haven't done the sprint or the races yet, or Division 2. I think still need to very much get into the action of it, as Calvin and Will and a few other riders all fighting. Perky's in there as well, Sharky all fighting for the Division 2 Cup, and then of course Division 1 is going to be settled between Jake, Gilzo and Quesadilla Charlie as well. But well, hopefully I can promote that to you now, some good content coming in from Monday night's live stream. So onto the brakes then for the TV3. Beautiful tight apex to the left-hander, then across to the right. Did upshift a little bit prematurely there, so we lost a little bit of time. But I feel like if we did it on the next lap, we could probably improve a bit. I just won't upshift so early as we now go onto the brakes. Of course, if you are enjoying the video so far, don't forget to like, comment and subscribe. Oh my god, I've lost the front. Oh, I said it on the lap prior that I must be careful going into there, and I've absolutely blown it. I can't believe it. I guess you're going to see a prime example then of how slow the AI are on the long straight in a moment's time. I can't believe that. Just losing my concentration ever so slightly there. Just completely lost the plot. Well, it's not going to be a problem. Still got plenty of fuel to burn. We're still on power setting 3 across the line. It's a 1 minute 42. Shocking lap time. Terrible. We'll have a 140. I mean, the first lap time, of course, was a standing start halfway down the straight, and of course that was 147.23, and I've just cut the corner again here. Really making some bad habits here, so I tell you what, let's let Jack Miller get through. I don't really want to be I don't want to be cutting corners, not against this AI difficulty. Don't really, well, I mean, it's the hardest difficulty, but they just don't offer any difficulty. So let's let Jack through and let's make this an interesting final part of today's race. So alongside Marquez, as we run it way too deep into the Repsol corner. Will Marquez get through? He certainly will. Okay. Action is unfolding here as we go for the TV3 corner. I can't quite get where I want to be. Around the outside of Jack. Take that. Payback from lap 2 as we go around the outside of Jack Miller's. Marquez now dives with the inside. Wow. I wasn't expecting that into the Kamsa corner, but as you can see, the AI do struggle upon the acceleration going in to turn 9, and now into Lakaisha again. Marquez was super close to touching the rear tyre of our Ducati, and I tell you what, Marquez has not given up yet. Marquez might be making this very interesting. I might have just messed this up, you know. Surely not now. So it's in the bag. The gap is I hope he doesn't do the Rossi. Oh my god, he's right behind us. He's going to go for the Rossi lunge, isn't he? He's going to go around the outside. Oh my god. Oh, Marquez really getting the stress and the pressures going there. Oh my god, what a way to finish this sprint. How unexpected to finish just barely ahead by 67,000 of a second. That's absolutely unbelievable. Anyway, well, we took the 12 points, but at what cost? Goodness me. Identical lap times from Mark and Jack there as well. So I think we did take the fastest lap, and we still have the fast lap. So yeah, that was quite thrilling. Let's take a look at the championship standings then. 136 points clear from both Nea Bastianini and then Jack Miller, 139. Marquez still there in 5th place. But yeah, that was wild. Let's move on now to the actual race, ladies and gentlemen. So here we go then for the race. I've done some thinking, and you know what? I'm going to change things up. I am going to run power setting 1 for this race instead. I'm just going to use power... Oh, what a shocking start that was. I am going to reduce down to power setting 1 now, but I just wanted a bit of speed from power setting 3 as we're going really through everyone there. That's a messy start. I have no idea why the AI struggles so much in this circuit of Catalunya, but even in the lowest power option, we are now up into the top 5 from falling as far back as 22nd in this race. Look at them, they're so slow. I'm on the lowest power option here, and we're still carving our way through these like knife through butter. Unbelievable, isn't it? Bastianini, wow, he got close to us there onto the right hand side for turn 5. For turn 4. This is turn 5, the Repsol corner. Very interesting lines there, but I can definitely get through a Luca Marini here and possibly Marquez, but it would take a braver man than me to launch it up inside of the 8 times world champion. So we've got 12 laps here today. I'm going to be using power setting 1 for them all, because Luca Marini gives us a bit of a nudge going into the Campsa corner. Nothing to be too worried about. Luca Marini's not going to push us into a mistake, as we now go onto the brakes. Look how much we've closed in on Lakaisha for Marc Marquez ahead of us. Power setting 1 then is the key to make the content fun. So let's stay like this. Let's make this the Power Setting 1 Championship. It'll be from here on out. What's the next race? Is it Mazzano? I absolutely love that circuit. So with Power Setting 1 round there, I think that should be a doddle, but we'll see what happens. But yeah, this is what I was talking about earlier in the sprint. Look how slow they are on the straight with the hardest difficulty artificial intelligence in this game. Bizarre that they are so slow here in Catalunya. But I guarantee when we get to Buddha, it's going to be completely different. We're going to go to the Indian GP and the AI will be extremely strong, I guarantee. But we'll see when we get there. So, power setting 1 is struggling a bit in the corners. Haven't quite got the speed to catch up to them now, but I think is a opportunity to get through on the Repsol Honda in the Repsol corner for turn 5. So hard on the brakes, a little bit tight to the apex. There you go. Clean as you like. A choreographed move going into turn 5. And Jack Miller, he's just really struggling. We're going to go around the outside again. Clean as you like. Is he fighting back though? I thought he would be somewhere. Not close enough for a lunge. Does he go around the outside? Does he go for the lunge now? Oh, 3 abreast there. Look at us all pushing each other, going in to the long straight for the Lakaisha corner for turn 10. But I think that's it. That could be curtains for the 120% difficulty AI. Marquez is still there. And of course, he got close to us in the final corner of the end of the sprint. So will he be doing that again in a moment's time? On the right-hander then, and then we got one more right-hander before we conclude lap number 2. Marquez 3/10 onto the power and across the line. It's a 138.638 for me. Nothing special, but Nea Bastianini faster with a 138.471. I do wonder what my potential is with the first power option in the game. This is your power saving option, your fuel efficient power option, let's say. And so far, it's working out relatively well, as we now have a 10th and a half in our pocket. Gotta say, Power Setting 1 actually feels much better than I thought it would. I have used Power Setting 1 in career mode before, and I found that the bike felt really sluggish. Here, it just feels right. It's actually a really nice experience to use the first power option. Of course, with the motorcycle having a low power input, it's going to be a very smooth acceleration, easy to manipulate and easy to maneuver with the motorcycle. So yeah, as far as I'm concerned, this should be a very comfortable race, and I think it's going to teach me a lot about the lower power option. Could also give me a little bit of negative, so it could be the opposite effect where we get too aggressive now with the acceleration. Of course, with the lower fuel power option, it's easier then to press the power with a lot more oomph and determination. Basically, instead of going maybe 60-70% throttle out the corners, you might be able to go like 80-90 just to really, maybe even more, to be quite honest with you. There's so little power coming out to spin the rear tyre. I think the medium rear will be in such a good situation that we're not going to have to consider the tyres in this one. I probably should have gone for the soft to make things a little bit more interesting. But with me being on Power Setting 1, I wasn't sure how well it would work. And across the line, a 38.035. So pretty solid stuff, if I do say so myself. I'm happy with that. I wonder if we get into 37s then. I mean, we only need to find 36,000 of a second. It can't be that hard. So I'm pretty sure we can. It's just if we will. So of course, guys, don't forget, like, comment and subscribe if you're enjoying the video. I do appreciate all the assistance regardless of, even if you only just watch and you don't subscribe. But yeah, if you do, definitely get subscribed. It's the best place to be for MotoGP content, if I do say so myself. And I always like to keep you guys engaged, so of course let me know in the comments section what you'd like to see next. I've got an interesting video coming tomorrow, I do believe, which I won't spoil, but it's a long race with a lot of laps and a lot of determination. That's all I'll say. So yeah, check out the race coming tomorrow at 2 PM British summertime. Of course, the usual DrAce upload time. If you're used to it at a different time, it must have been because we have had the daylight savings change rather recently, of course. So into Lukaisha, then this is now a 1.5 second advantage to Marc Marquez. The gap in terms of the championship would put Jack Miller up into second place once again, but as you can see, it's almost 150 championship point difference. I mean, there's 37 points available per weekend. I could miss 4 races and he could still not win the World Championship. Because, I mean, don't forget, he's got to win every single one there. And considering Jack has been... he's been up there, but he's had a few mistakes. Didn't go quite so well in the Red Bull Ring of Austria, of course. So I'd have to see. Would we want to skip races? I don't think we would, but it certainly could be an option to make things interesting. Skip 4 races and then just basically go all out. Could be fun, but I'd also really like to try Power Setting 1 for the next couple of races. Definitely starting Misano. We're already starting here, let's be honest. But we'll start from the back of the grid, Power Setting 1. If we can't get that to be interesting, we'll try some long lap penalties in there as well. But we'll definitely see what we can do to keep the content flowing. So it's another strong lap time there with the lower power option, a 138.2. Tights the apex for turn 7, then into the right hander for turn 8. Very clean riding with Power Setting 1. It just feels good. It's slower, but it feels so responsive. I don't know how to describe it. It's just good. Not as powerful compared to Power Setting 3. But to be honest, even though we're on the lower power option, it's not like I'm just pulling away. The gap is still very much hovering around 1.3 to 1.5. It oscillates up and down, but it's keeping this one interesting. I do feel if we were using Power Setting 2 or 3, I think we'd be multiple seconds ahead of Marc Marquez. But for now, all things good as we now get onto the power and across the line. It is the exact same lap time, a 38.035. So consistency paying off on Power Setting 1, a deviation of about 0.6 of a second so far in the featured race here in Catalunya. Look at all those fans waving the flags up there. They're definitely into the content right now. I hope you guys are too. All the riders down there fighting in turn 1, as you can see on the graphic in the left-hand side of your screen. Excuse me, just losing my voice ever so slightly. As we now have a 1/10 of a second. Oh, we found a 1/10 of a second, but I think the nature of that right-hander there is a little bit misleading. It feels like you're finding too much time and then didn't quite materialise. That gap to Marquez is still the same. We must be doing pretty much identical lap times right now. Found a few tenths going into the wonderful TV3 corner. One of my favourite corners in MotoGP 23. A bit early on the downshift there is that front tyre is beginning to look a little bit worse for the wear, especially on the right hand side. Now there is a lot of hard braking in this circuit. A lot of angled braking as well. Not quite the best for the tyres, but this is a good lap time coming here into the Bank Sabadell for the 6th time of asking. We get onto the power, avoiding the wheelie beautifully. Of course, with the lack of fuel, the lack of power being pushed into the Ducati Lenovo GP23 motorcycle, it's not able to wheelie. But out to the right-hander then, and across the line, this should be, and it is, the first 1 minute 37.968. The first 1 minute 37 lap time of today's featured race with the lowest power option. Brilliant. This has been superb so far, and I am thoroughly enjoying this one. Enjoying it even more with power setting 1, which is a surprise. Some good lap times coming in there. For the past 4 lap times, we've only teetered off by 2/10. Very solid, very consistent. But as I mentioned, I think it was the Red Bull Ring of Austria. I tend to get a good 3 or 4 laps in a row, which are excellent, really good pace. And then lap 5 or 6, I'll end up making a mistake. So I mustn't overthink, but I do tend to do this a lot. So I've got to stay consistent, and that's already wide into the TV3. We're going to lose a bit of time here, but we're still actually already up. Surprisingly, we're still up. That felt like I was going off the racing line quite a lot. But we found an additional bit of time. So onto the brakes then, right where that shadow is. Pulling the Ducati into the Lacaisha corner. A little bit deep, but it's not a problem. Because you do sort of avoid that weird lack of turning through that corner. Didn't find any time, but we didn't lose a significant amount. So this could be very close to another 37. Will it be, though? That's the question that will not be answered until about 2 seconds' time across the line. It is not a 137, it's another 138, but it is by the thinnest of margins. A 138.002 coming in on lap number 7. I've got to say, Catalunya, it's just a track that I feel really good at. I can't really say what it is that just makes me feel so comfortable, but I can zone in on this track so quickly, so easily. And I'm having a great time here. This is fantastic. This is an awesome track. Probably could be due to the sheer amount of laps I put in at this circuit over the years, from probably the early days of MotoGP games from when it was first introduced and just till now. Absolutely love this circuit. I think it gets better with every game. Solid in Superbike 22, even better now in MotoGP 23. All peachy from me right now here on lap number 8. I would love to see us stay within those couple of tenths of a second throughout the entire duration of this race. That would be the icing on the cake for me. Ramming accidentally once again as we go into the Lacaisha corner. This is turn 10. Just caught a glimpse there of Jack Miller losing out on 3rd place there to Enea Bastianini. And now the number 23, who was temporarily in 3rd, has now dropped to 5th. So there must be quite the battle going on for that final rostrum position. Hopefully Luca or Enea can get onto the podium instead of Jack. No disrespect to Jack Miller. But it would just make that Championship League go over 150 points, and that's what I'm looking forward to. 150 point advantage would be epic. Look at that battle for the straight there. Definitely expect to see Marini or Bastianini move ahead of Jack Miller. I'm waiting for it. It's not happened yet. Is Johan Zarco in there as well? He might just be a little bit off the pace. But I'm keeping my eye on that. I'm keeping an eye on both the left-hand side of the screen and the right-hand side to see if that 148 point increase or advantage changes to include a 5. But for good reason. And the 5 would be, of course, the second digit rather than the last. I mean, if we somehow got 500 plus points, that would be absolutely ridiculous. But I don't think that's going to happen here today in Catalunya as we go onto the brakes for the TV3. I mustn't keep saying it, but I do love that corner. I gush at that corner every time, and I think because it's the chance of it going wrong. It's one of those corners that I feel great at because you brake early, and being early and concise and relaxed is the better way to take it rather than just overthinking it. So now I just launch into that corner without thinking and just see it pay off. If you touch that apex, you're a goner though, but that's the risks of racing, of course, at the highest level here in MotoGP 23. Of course, I'm not actually at the highest level, but you know what I mean. In the career mode, I would certainly say I am. On into the right-hander then. This is the New Holland corner. Dropping down to second gear to replicate Top Rack and Valentino Rossi. Cross the line. Another solid lap time. Look at that. Look at that difference in the laps there. No more than a 10th. Magnificent. Absolutely brilliant. Really enjoying this track. I could go for another couple of laps here. As I say, I've got a big race tomorrow with, in the sense of lap times to do tomorrow. But I'm going to have to come back and do this track at some point because this is marvellous. It's a really solid track. I'm very much enjoying this one. Onto the brakes then. We are losing time. My streak could be coming to an end here. I guess it's not the streak, but we could be possibly increasing that gap for the first time in a while. In the terms of delta for the negative. Really happy with those lap times though. Power setting 1 is the ultimate key for consistency, it seems. Hard on the power there, coming out of the right hand, just balancing the throttle there as well, just fighting with the traction. Because once that rear tyre begins to wane away a little bit, it's easier just to balance the throttle, just to get that feeling for it, just so you know how to balance it and how the tyre is skipping and sliding. It helps me a lot to balance the throttle and bounce the throttle as we was a little bit too casual going into Lakaisha there. We've actually lost 0.4 of a second. That's a shame. So, right at the death here on lap number 10, I'm going to ruin my lap time streak. We are going to now make it worse. This is going to be a 138.4 from what I can see. Could be a 138.3, but across the line we'll find out now. Yeah, that's it. That's bad timing. We've lost 0.4. Oh, I'm not happy about that. I'm disappointed. I was really hoping I could keep that run of form. I mean, to lose 0.4 is really not a problem, especially when you already have a 4-second advantage to the rest of the AI, which is on the hardest difficulty here, may I remind you, but on power setting 1. Crazy. So, onto the brakes then, into the right-hander. Are we able to find any time? Still undecided what I should do with the gear in this corner here for this long sweeping right-hander. I'm tempted to upshift to third, but to be honest, if it's not broken, don't try and fix it. And leaving it in second gear has been absolutely fine for the duration of this race and even in the sprint as well. But onto the brakes then. This is the TV3. That is the 11th time of asking in today's MotoGP full featured race. Hey, this lap time could be a good one. The delta's still within a 10th. Almost half a 10th. Onto the brakes we go for the Lakaisha corner. Don't cut it too tight. Also, don't run it too deep because then that happens. And we lose 0.3. So my advantage quickly dwindled there. So onto the power for the Bank Sabadell corner. And then onto the right-hander for 13. Nice and tight to the apex. Just realised I haven't had a track limit warning yet in this track. Good stuff so far. Keeping in third gear for the final corner. Onto the power and across the line. Back to the lower echelon of the 38s. But ladies and gentlemen, this will be the final lap of today's Catalan GP. On the brakes then, let's see if we can get an improved lap time. This is the 11th corner. We found a bit of time. Keep it tight to the apex, but do not cut the corner. I would really appreciate not having any track limit warnings here today. That right-hand side of the front tyre is beginning to really struggle now. And I can feel it. Doesn't feel bad anywhere else. The medium rear feels excellent. We haven't reached that midway part where it usually begins to struggle. Enea Bastianini has now passed Jack Miller. It's taken him a long time to do it, but he's through, and we now have an 151-point championship lead. That is sensational. Magnificent. I'll better not go through the adjectives again, but you get the point. Onto the power, out of the Worth corner, into the right-hand side for the Kampsa corner. We have a chance of improving the lap time on the very final lap. Wait for the shadow. There it is. Hit the brakes. Turn in to the left-hand side to the tight apex of Lakaisha, and we might have a chance of improving. Oh, we lost it again. Looks like Lakaisha has once again caught us out from a chance of improving the lap time. Not a bad effort nonetheless. So here we go then, guys and girls, out of the penultimate corner for the final time of asking in today's video, and then finally into the right-hander for the New Holland corner. We get onto the power, and we will celebrate another victory, but this time with power setting 1. And Bastianini's right on the case of Marquez there in the background. So there you go then, guys. Look at that, Fabio Quartararo at the end. 137.044. I don't understand how they managed to chuck in a lap time like that right at the death. Paul Espargaro in the points again. Good to see. No real surprises. I mean, Jorge Martin not in the points is a big surprise here in Catalunya, but there it is. Championship advantage to Jack Miller is a 151 points, but Enea Bastianini it's now 145, so not quite there for 150 points advantage just yet. But ladies and gentlemen, that's it from me. I certainly hope you've enjoyed the video. If you did, let me know in the comments section down below, and of course, be sure to subscribe. See you in the next video, guys. Ciao for now. Oh hi, didn't quite see you there. Good to see you're still here. If this video didn't quite sate your appetite, then why not watch some more DrAce content by clicking the video shown on screen now. Furthermore, if you would like to follow me on social media, you can do so now with the links down in the description. Consider subscribing so you don't miss a single DrAce video.